The world has been tuned in to the Euro 2020, so let's talk some soccer. But don't worry, I've got basketball and football still covered for you today too.
I'll be telling you whether to buy, sell, or hold.
This is The Forecast. Card investors, I'm Amber Wilson, happy to be back here hanging out with you guys again for the second time this week. I was filling in for Jeff on Top 5. You might have caught that this week. If you didn't, check out the YouTube channel. And hey, here at Sports Card Investor, on this YouTube channel, we have reached almost 100,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you doing? Hit the bell icon, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out, but even more importantly, it helps you guys out because then you won't miss any of our content ever. Plus, it's free, it's easy, it takes 1 second. Do it. I will hunt you down if you don't. I will find you. No, I actually won't, but just do it. Anyways, please, it helps us. So on today's show, I've got a lot of soccer talk for you, but don't worry, I've also got some football and some basketball for you today as well. But before I hop into those 5 cards, I want to remind you guys that this episode, like all episodes of Sports Card Investor, are brought to you by our friends at eBay, your #1 spot for cards and collectibles. With the largest inventory of sports cards from vintage to modern to exclusives you will not want to miss, and the largest community of sellers, eBay is the leading place to buy, sell, and invest your cards. So let's hop right into some soccer talk, football, if you will. I mentioned it's the Euro 2020. The world has been tuned into that. Let's talk about one of the brightest young stars in the game in Jadon Sancho. Now, Sancho is a winger for German Bundesliga club Borussia Dortmund and the English national team. Dortmund and Manchester U, though, they did reach a transfer agreement. So Sancho is expected to sign a new contract with Man U after the Euro 2020, which we, of course, are playing in 2021 because of a global pandemic. Now, Sancho here is considered one of the brightest young stars in the game. He's known for his creativity on the field, and his Donruss rated rookie is affordable. So that might pique your interest a bit, but it is already building a pretty high pop count for soccer cards. Anyways, let's take a look at it. This is the 2018 Donruss base PSA 10 that you're looking at here. And that card is stagnant basically over the last 30 days. That's about a 7% decline in value, not much, less than 10%. We don't worry about that too much. Basically, of late, Sancho's card is pretty stagnant in the hobby in terms of value. So what do we do here? Do we buy, do we sell, or do we hold?
So for Jayson Sancho, I personally am a sell. So normally when players transfer from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, we see a big spike in their card prices. This happened last September with Kai Havertz, where his 2018 Donruss PSA 10 shot all the way up to over $400. Today, that's about a $70 card. That card quickly came back down to earth, and then it's kind of slowly declined to where it is right now, $70. Point is that it's just really hard to make the same kind of splash that the transfer from the Bundesliga to the Premier League makes. And so if you were to buy or hold Sancho's cards at the moment, you're essentially banking on the fact that he's going to become one of the top players in the Premier League in the next couple years, which is a massive feat at such a young age. Not saying he can't do it, but personally, with his cards where they're at, I would take the safe route and sell Jadon Sancho.
So from one of the youngest bright stars in the game to a bona fide superstar, about as superstar-y as you can get, if you will, in the world of international sports. And that, of course, is Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, he is the forward for Juventus. He's the captain of the Portugal national team. He's one of soccer's all-time greats. His 2022 year could be his last World Cup year. He'll be 37 at that point, so probably the last one that we're going to see him playing. He doesn't have as many cards as you'd expect for a player of his caliber. Think about it. He was a rookie. We're talking almost 20 years ago now, and they just didn't produce the cards back then at the same rate. You're talking 2003 for Cristiano Ronaldo. There's very few of these PSA graded cards in circulation at all. So it is unbelievably hard to find high grades in Cristiano Ronaldo's cards. There are not many sales of his 2003 Mega Cracks for us to even track. There's not much movement if you do own those cards. His PSA 8 has 4 sales on Market Movers with an average of just over $16,200. So that's the kind of market we are talking about for Cristiano Ronaldo's rookie cards. Let's take a look here at his 2003 Panini Mega Cracks base PSA 8. There's 21 of these in the world, and that card is down about 29%. Over the last year, we're looking at an entire year here, so a slight dip, but again, not much movement on these cards at all. These cards are hard to find. He is one of the all-time greats, and the thing with Cristiano Ronaldo, at least in my opinion, is you're talking about a player that is as famous for what he does on the pitch as he is for what he does off of it, right? I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, the male model. Everybody knows these things about Ronaldo. He is an international superstar. He is as big as a star as you can get or you can become in the world. That means that you're going to be very valuable and very coveted in the hobby. In the hobby, hobbyists tend to invest in very good players, but even more so, they tend to invest in stars. And Cristiano Ronaldo has that star power that extends far beyond soccer, and I would imagine lasts far beyond his soccer career. So, what do we do here with Cristiano Ronaldo? Do we buy, do we sell, or do we hold?
So with Cristiano Ronaldo, personally, I'm a buy on him, especially his low population rookies. Like Jeff mentioned a few weeks ago with Lionel Messi, you really can't go wrong buying the soccer GOATs. And so for me, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's a modern day GOAT, sort of like LeBron James, Tom Brady, those kind of guys. And in the soccer world, while players like Kevin De Bruyne or Robert Lewandowski are incredible, awesome players at the moment, they're not quite that top tier elite GOAT level players that in 30 years will be remembered amongst the all-time greats, will have their names mentioned next to the Maradonas and the Pelés. And Ronaldo will. But in the short term, what we have to look forward to as far as what can move Ronaldo's card prices are rumors that have kind of crept up of him possibly moving to PSG or the Premier League. Personally, I like the idea of him moving to either of these destinations, whether it be PSG or really any Premier League team. Because in America, at least, Juventus just doesn't really get talked about much. And so either move, I think, would get a lot more, especially American eyeballs on Ronaldo. And then the medium to long term, we of course, next year, have the World Cup, which is going to be a monumentous event for all soccer cards, I think. With the Euros going on right now, we've seen little upticks in certain players who have performed well there, but the Euros are nothing compared to the World Cup. With that being said, I like buying Ronaldo's rookie cards, or really any early 2000s Ronaldo cards. Personally, I would be selling his higher pop base prisms just because they have slowly continued to trend downward as the populations rise, and just the nature of being a base card, it's not as interesting to people. It's very high population, not as scarce. Where with his rookie cards or early 2000s cards, like some of his early Manchester United cards, those kind of ones, they're really hard to find. And so that's what I think guarantees the long-term viability of Ronaldo as an investment, would be to buy his earlier cards.
So I gave you a little soccer. Let's switch gears for a second. It is the NBA Finals after all. Let's talk about a guy who's not playing in them, right? Jayson Tatum. That's what we tend to do here. Everyone wants to hear. These are your suggestions again, by the way, guys, week in and week out. And everyone wants to hear about these basketball players, and yet they tend to not be the basketball players still hanging around in the playoffs. So we're in the midst of the NBA Finals. Jayson Tatum, though, he plays for the Boston Celtics. They got bounced way earlier than, frankly, they probably should have. And because of that, they've had some major shakeups with losing their GM and now their head coach becoming their GM. There's a lot of movement going on in Boston. Jayson Tatum is not one of those moving pieces. The Boston Celtics forward is a very versatile scorer. He is considered a young, bright star in the game. His duo there with Jaylen Brown, a lot of people consider that one of the better duos in the NBA. I do think people have kind of softened on that narrative a little bit coming off of this season. They were really disappointing this season and last season, just in terms of how far they got in the postseason. They've really underperformed, in my opinion. This Boston Celtics team has really underperformed considering the talent that it has with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. And if I was Boston, I would have moved on from Brad Stevens. I don't know if I would have promoted Brad Stevens, but you will have a new head coach there starting next season. What does that mean for Jaylen Brown? I am not high on the Boston Celtics generally, or the job that they've done the last few years, but I am very high on Jayson Tatum. Even though I don't like the C's because I'm a Heat fan, I think Jayson Tatum is a really, really exciting player. I would take him on my team in 2 seconds flat. So let's take a look at his 2017 Prism Base PSA 10. Now, there's over 5,000 of these in circulation. That card's down about 18% over the last month. If we're looking at his 2017 Optic Base PSA 10, little lower pop count, but still a pretty high pop here. That card's even over the last 30 days. So not a ton of movement here when we're talking about value on Jayson Tatum's cards. What do we do here with Jayson Tatum? Do we buy, do we sell, or do we hold?
So Jayson Tatum. Personally, I'm a buy on Jayson Tatum. I love the idea of buying a player when all the attention is shifted away from him. Because right now we have the NBA Finals going on. We've got the baseball season. We've got the upcoming NFL season. And I mean, Jayson Tatum, he's 23 years old, just got out of his 4th season. Each of those seasons, he's upped his scoring, and he just came off a career high of 26.4 points per game. He, in this year's playoffs, actually bumped that up to over 30. He was 5th in the NBA in postseason scoring this year, which is kind of incredible for a 4th-year player. He's the face of one of the most storied franchises in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. The Celtics, well, they did kind of fall apart last season, a lot of that due to injuries. They have an excellent core with him and Jaylen Brown. So we'll see who they can get paired up with them in the near future. As far as the mid to long-term outlook, I consider Jayson Tatum kind of in the realm that I put Devin Booker in, where I've stated that I believe Devin Booker will be a top 5 player in the next 5 years. We may already be seeing him enter that level. But I see Jayson Tatum being in that category of top 5 player in the next 5 years. So I would be buying Jayson Tatum right now. Again, all the attention is shifted away from him. That's the best time to buy.
So let's switch gears again. Let's talk some football, baby. And I don't mean football like we talked at the top of the show. I mean actual football, like the American kind. So let's do it. Let's talk about Kyler Murray. Now, the Arizona Cardinals quarterback, a young star in the NFL. I think people have really bought into Kyler Murray. Remember, Arizona was that really unique team that drafts a quarterback in the first round and then the next season drafts another quarterback in the first round, which you never see them do. But they did that because they knew Kyler Murray was that special, and they were right about their second time. Not so much about Josh Rosen the first time, but they got it right that second time with Kyler Murray. He's proven so far, at least in his NFL career, that size is not an issue, which was the big concern there with Kyler Murray coming out of college. Last year, he completed 67% of his passes, threw for almost 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions. Let's take a look at his 2019 Prism Base PSA 10. Looking at the last month, card's basically stagnant, just 7% decline, nothing that we worry about. If you're looking at his 2019 Optic Base PSA 10, the exact same. This one's a lower pop count, but in terms of value, 7% decline, nothing to worry about over the last 30 days. So basically, Kyler Murray right now, pretty stagnant in the hobby. So what do we do here? Do we buy, do we sell, or do we hold?
All right, Kyler Murray. Love Kyler Murray. I'm a buy on him. He and Josh Allen, to me, are my two favorite quarterbacks in terms of value to be buying right now. Justin Herbert would be on this list if 2020 products weren't so overprinted. We still have a ton yet to come back from PSA, so we don't know where the populations will end up at. Just a bit too much supply out there for me. But for Kyler, two of his key cards, his 2019 Prism and Optic in PSA 10s, over the last 30 days have been essentially flat, which, as the football market has dipped a bit, to see a card that has held steady, held strong in that downward momentum is a great indicator to me. And the Cardinals just signed AJ Green, who will be a nice pairing besides DeAndre Hopkins, who they stole from my Houston Texans, along with JJ Watt. But nonetheless, I love the potential that Kyler Murray has. I love the weapons he has around him. Right now, Pro Football Focus, they have the Cardinals offensive line ranked 11th, which is respectable. He won't be running for his life, which is very key for quarterback success, obviously. And so I think all the components there are there right now for Kyler Murray to be a solid buy.
All the sports world has been talking about for months is the Aaron Rodgers drama up in Green Bay. I am exhausted talking about what Aaron Rodgers does every second of every day, and is there a sign, and is he going to come back? Is he going to continue to hold out? What's the situation with Green Bay? Green Bay is refusing to trade him, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of this affects the next guy that I'm going to talk about, in Jordan Love, because Jordan Love, of course, is the quarterback in waiting in Green Bay. Now, I say in waiting, this isn't like an Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre situation where they were ready to move on from Brett Favre because they knew what they had in Rodgers. Jordan Love's the backup, and we have no idea if he's good. I mean, he hasn't played in the NFL at all. I have no idea what he looks like as an NFL player. And so far, you got out of OTAs, like he was good one day, then he was not good one day, and one day they were excited, and one day they were concerned. And you hear this roller coaster as it regards Aaron Rodgers and what he's doing, and we have no idea if he's actually going to be the starting quarterback or if it's going to be Jordan Love. So amid all of this drama, Jordan Love is just kind of trying to make it in the NFL and trying to build a career in the NFL. There has been, though, some movement here with Jordan Love in the hobby. And all of that is based purely on speculation, because there ain't a single person on planet Earth that knows if Jordan Love is going to be a good football player in the NFL or not. His cards have a very low pop count, even though, he's in the news a lot right now because of Aaron Rodgers. And there's a lot of speculation around whether he's going to be good or not. So there is a lot of attention turning towards him inside and outside of the hobby. But he's got a really low pop count because not only is he a very new player, obviously, here, but also because PSA's been backed up. So you don't have many graded Jordan Love cards out there. Most of his graded cards haven't even hit the secondary market yet. So let's take a look at his 2020 Don Russ base PSA 10. We've only got 75 of these in terms of population. That card is down about 27% over the last 30 days. Now, you guys know, most of you know if you watch this show regularly, I'm a radio host on ESPN Radio, and on ESPN Radio, all we do is talk about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it gets really annoying. And what I can tell you is every day I'm having, Adam Schefter and Jeremy Fowler on my shows when I do these shows on the weekends when normally I'm on, and their answer every time I have them on is, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Some people in Green Bay think Aaron Rodgers is going to play. Other people in Green Bay think Jordan Love is going to be the starting quarterback. There is a scenario where they both end up playing. There is a scenario where they start Jordan Love the first couple games of the season, and then Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay work something out and he stops holding out. So there is a scenario where you end up seeing both of them. Either way, I think we're about to find out more about the Jordan Love experience, even if it's just in practice. So what do we do here with Jordan Love's cards? Do we buy, sell, or hold?
All right, Jordan Love. I'm a sell on him. At the moment, as it stands, it's still Aaron Rodgers' team. I thought it was a pretty dumb move by the Packers to be drafting a first-round quarterback, which signals that you're essentially ready to transition to a new era, a new quarterback. But they did it when they have an MVP caliber quarterback, as we saw last year. You know how hard it is to get an MVP level quarterback? They don't just grow on trees. So I didn't really like the move. I thought it was kind of disrespectful to Aaron Rodgers. And I understand why he's been so ticked off lately. But nonetheless, Jordan Love, still, as it stands, his position is riding the pine. He's an unproven player. His cards are trending upwards at the moment. His 2020 Donruss PSA 10 is up 27% over the last 30 days, which to me is kind of incredible as a guy who is slated, like I said, to be riding the pine this season. So me taking the safe route, I would just be selling into this upwards momentum. I would just, wipe my hands clean of Jordan Love at the moment and move on to other things while his card prices are increasing. So that, for me, is why Jordan Love is a sell.
So that'll do it for this week, guys. Thanks for watching. A reminder again, of course, hit the bell icon, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'll be back next week right here on The Forecast. As always, guys, happy investing.